What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Go over some of the data points, latest in analyst ratings, and some potential SoFi expansion coming for the foreseeable future. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go down 5.73%. Absolute craziness today. 1205 the low, 1282 the high. So what really prompted all of this kind of fear today was data points. So we did have ADP, employment, GDP, and also PCE in their own way coming in a little bit worse for wear. So this really spooked the broader market. You had instantly people talking about recession and whatever else. Broader market for the most part did recover. SoFi did lag, which was very, very odd. So once again, SoFi, which had a pretty phenomenal kick-ass earnings, it lost all the gains yesterday, and then it kind of lagged the broader market today, and especially in the second half of the day for a recovery. After hours, it's moving up, and that is because of Robinhood's earnings, which were absolutely phenomenal. So they're kind of piggybacking off of that. But SoFi essentially did lag. And I started to look back historically at previous earnings just to kind of see. And as you, this right here, so in April 29th, 2024, so basically 1 year ago, you did have a very similar scenario play out where it did, and it was initially green for their earnings, lost all the gains, and even the following day it did go down like 12%. So I think that type of scenario was kind of playing out. Doesn't logically make sense, but what do I know? When it comes to analysts, though, the latest analyst ratings, they did see a certain level of optimism. So there was a couple that did come out today. 1550, that was by UBS Timothy, who has a 49% success rating. Aside from that, $12 Barclays Terry, who has a 56% success rating. $20 buy, that was by Kyle with Needham. Kyle has a 43% success rating. And then you did have KBW Tim, $9. So at the end of the day, pretty good stuff if you ask me. I still do feel like there's going to be probably a good about 4 or 5 more that do trickle in over the next couple of trading days. But nonetheless, though, as a consensus over the last 3 months, $12.95 is that price target, representing a 3.52% upside, which in my opinion, I still think is rather on the low end, but still good to see at least some double digits on there. $20 again, so that's kind of matching with Dan with Mizuho, their rating that came out 3 months ago. So yeah, good to see a lot of upside is anticipated. So this one right here, so SoFi Insider has been really posting quite a lot on social media. And they've been really talking about some acquisition coming out from Europe. So it looks as though that there's some Europe expansion happening, and that does show as of the 28th. SoFi Swiss company director was changed from Oliver, I'm not going to butcher their name, to some William Kennedy, a US citizen who is a CFO at 𝗖𝗓𝗧. So this individual has been really talking about how SoFi has kind of launched a business in Europe, Switzerland, I do believe, and it looks as though that they have some plan of maybe a venture or joint ventureship or some partnership down the line. Regardless, though, it does seem like something is happening in Europe. So I wanted to kind of just bring this up, follow them on social media for more updates. They post quite a lot of good things on there. So yeah, let me know your kind of general thoughts on that in the comments below. And so yeah, what do you think about them kind of potentially venturing over across the pond to Europe? Do you think that's advantageous? Me being a Canadian, it'd be a little bit better if they came up north, but I feel like the Canadian regulations, not many people really like to deal with them, so they just avoid Canada altogether, which is rather unfortunate. But that being said, moving on, shorts did increase 1.09 million shares today. And if we can kind of look here, shorts did recently double down near the tail end of the day, but for the most part, they were kind of just sitting back and really coasting. So they did increase 1.09. Again, majority was near the tail end of the day, which kind of does explain why somewhat was lagging in the second half. But 13.95% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 150.31 million shares. So interesting to kind of analyze today, 19 million in calls, 9.63 million in puts. So very low in volume in comparison to the last several trading days. 45% of all the options though being done were optimistic in nature, and so you can kind of see today grand total was 28.5 million, yesterday 77.5, day prior 60. So a little bit on the low end, but then again, that's anticipated. It's not fair to assume that would be 60 plus million every single day. Of the calls, meaning the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $14 range, 14 to 14.50. Then the bears for it to be sub roughly 12 to 11.50. So definitely a lot more upside is anticipated. A lot of big transactions did occur today, so you see a lot of buying first thing, couple pockets of selling ultimately, and so a lot of that is what attributed to kind of it staying down. And yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of big transactions being done after hours, so 2.2, 1.9, 1.05. So a lot of big money is definitely buying based on the Robinhood hype, if that kind of makes sense. A lot of big transactions on the dark pool as well, as per usual. With it though at $12.51, trading right above this pivot point. So 14.01 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, and then 12.46 is going to be that strong support that you'll really want to watch for it to hold into the next couple trading days. Big data point coming out tomorrow as well, so we have manufacturing, so that could again spook the broader market a little bit, so we'll just have to kind of watch and wait. But luckily enough, SoFi did hold that 50-day moving average, so that is sitting at $12.34. So that's going to be a key element to kind of watch for. Aside from that though, that 100-day moving average is sitting at 14.01. So most likely it's just going to be trading within those kind of that range up until either we get some clarity and really push higher because of all the tariffs and data points, or we just get a full-blown pullback, and again, it might test that 200-day moving average. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy, if you sold, or have you been panic selling? What's your kind of general thoughts on all of that? I can tell that there is a lot of individuals very frustrated based on SoFi's good kick-ass earnings, but since then just going down. So it is definitely very frustrating, but for those investors that have been in SoFi for the last year and a half, this isn't new. So it's kind of just, SoFi gets manipulated. What's next? That's pretty much how investors truly are. But when it comes down to this SoFi expansion, what is your viewpoint? And does anyone have any additional context on that to signal maybe what that might allude to and why that is a big deal, and potentially if it is a big catalyst? Because if they are going to be launching this in the foreseeable future, that in among itself could be a very good catalyst to really push SoFi higher, aka meaning right now is a good time to buy. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Discord, completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. So link into the description below is, or link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that though, appreciate all of you watching.